the time of year when I feel like I'm always talking about new stuff and new palettes and holiday this and that, I thought I'd do a video about really old stuff. Stuff that I have hit major pan on. Not just a little, you know, fleck of silver in the bottom, but things that are really getting used up. And I think this gives some fun insight into my makeup using habits. I think it would be fun to watch other people's videos on this too. I know there are a lot out there. This is not a new concept to do a video on what you've hit pan on, but if this inspires you to check out your collection and do something like this too, feel free, go for it. I think it'd be great. But I was actually inspired to do this because I was reading Makeup and Beauty Blog by Karen. She's great, and she did a post recently on things that she's hit major pan on. And so like right after I finished reading her post, I was like, I want to look in my collection and see what I've hit big pan on too. So first thing is this Bobbi Brown Corrector in Bisque. I've had this for ages, so I don't use this anymore, and it's not like there's a lot left to use anyway, but I keep this around and I keep that little bit in there, more like of something to compare other products to, because I love this particular shade, this salmony color, for concealing dark under eyes. So having this around, it helps me to compare other things to it and be like, oh, that's similar to the Bisque that I used years ago. So that's why that's still hanging around. And sometimes, like, even with products I don't like, I get asked, like, do I keep them around? Do I throw them out? Do I give them away? If there are some things that I think are total fails, I may still keep them around just to have something to compare other things to, because I do a lot of reviews. And I also know you guys like to see a big end of the year fails video. So my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. This puppy has been used to the bone here. Medium beige is my shade. I love this powder for the finish. I feel like it can mattify your skin, but it doesn't have a totally matte finish. You know what I'm saying? It can take away your shine, but the powder still has like a really natural look to it. So I love that. I still feel like I've got a good amount in there that I can keep using up, but once I do run out, I will buy more. This one may not qualify as major pan, but I thought I'd mention it. It's my Mally Ultimate Performance Professional Foundation in medium, and I've hit a little pan in this. I've used this a lot, but it's really not my favorite foundation. I feel like I love the way it looks when I first apply it to my skin, but I don't love the staying power. Coverage is decent, could be better. As you can see, it's a little dark for what my skin is now, but I've used that when I'm more tan. Mattifying face powder that I use a lot is from Maybelline, and it's the Shine Free powder. My shade is golden, and definitely hit pan on this guy. I think this is great for oil control, particularly in those months where I am more oily, and I may not even use this all over my skin. I will just use it like around my nose, forehead, and chin pretty much. So for just that small surface area for me to have hit pan on it, I think that's saying I've used it a lot. So that's a good one. Another thing that I've hit pan on is my e.l.f. translucent mattifying powder. This is something that for the longest time, and I still do this sometimes, oh no, my phone just beeped. But this is a really sheer powder. I wouldn't say it's totally translucent, because if you do apply enough to your face, like, you could get kind of a whitish cast, I think. But if I'm trying out something new eyeliner wise, using something unfamiliar on my lower lash line and I'm not sure how well it's gonna stay, I'll take a little concealer brush into this and apply this just under where my eyeliner stops, and I feel like it helps absorb oils and kind of keeps things from getting too smudgy. And I think what you're seeing in this video are the things that don't get rotated as much in my collection, like the face products, the bronzers and stuff like that, as you're gonna see here in a second. You know, you're going back to the same ones time after time, at least I am, like the same basic few. And then for blushes and eyeshadows, I'm like all over the place. It's rare for me to hit pan on that kind of stuff, especially now that I'm trying so much different makeup for my channel and everything. But I've got a lot of bronzers to talk about here. First one, this is Revlon Photo Ready Bronzed and Chic. Probably my current favorite drugstore bronzer, just for the great shade range. You can go lighter, you can go darker. As you can see, I've just kind of swirled my brush in there a lot, and this is what I've ended up with, but it's totally matte and it's great for contouring. If you've got really fair skin and you want something to contour with, or if you are maybe light to medium and you just want something that you can perk up your whole complexion with really lightly, the NYC Smooth Skin Face Powder. This has been repurchased several times. It's in Sunny. It's a nice light matte bronzer. So many people love that. This is my Essence Sun Club bronzer in Sunny, a little bit deeper than the NYC one, and hit big pan on this too. My sort of justification for using tons of bronzer is that I don't just apply it to my face, I also go down onto my neck, chest, décolleté area as well. I think it evens everything out. If you're wearing something more brief up top, I think it just looks better. And also when I was doing news, like, it was crazy how much added bronzer and blush it took to make your skin look healthy in front of the really, really bright lights. So there was a time when I used much more bronzer than I do now, but it was definitely a must-have. My Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, you guys have probably seen, I'm trying to make progress on this and get this used up, but this is one of my favorite high-end bronzers. It's like the perfect shade. It's gonna be darker than the NYC Sunny, but matte. Again, are we seeing a trend with matte bronzers? e.l.f. Contouring Blush and Bronzer. Yep. This is another deep bronzer. I remember using this a whole lot, just contouring your cheekbones. This is the St. Lucia shade, and I've got the other duos, and I think this one's my favorite. Cosmetics My Sculpted Face Palette. This is a matte highlighting powder, and I use that puppy a lot, and I've actually put mega dents in these two contouring shades too. But this is a nice little brightening powder. It's matte. You can definitely go too far with something like that, but really lightly, if I thought I was getting oily, I would use this instead of a shimmery highlight for a while, for news mainly. One of my favorite eyebrow products is the e.l.f. Studio Brow Kit in medium. There's a wax and a powder. I just use a little brush to apply. I think this just does a great job filling in brows, and if I'm traveling, trying to minimize the amount of products I'm taking, this is definitely like the go-to brow thing to take with me. My Milani Blush in Mai Tai. This is the most beautiful peachy pink pigmented shade, and it's kind of been retired to the back of my blush drawer because I don't want to be using this and tempting people with something they can no longer find, but this is a great shade. I know my mom has, I think, completely used up one of these too. I got her onto it, but it's a gorgeous shade of blush. I wish that would come back. And guys, check this out. Which shade did I use the most? And this is the Covergirl Trio in Golden Sunset, and the shade that's been majorly used up here is Golden Sunrise. For the longest time, now this is a pretty shade, but I would use this center shade, which is kind of a goldeny color like that, as my highlight, and I would wear it really sheer under my brow because I didn't want to wear a thick, heavy, like white highlight under my brow, so I thought this warmed things up a little bit. I was able to lay off of this once I realized they sold a single in that color. But this is definitely one of my most used CoverGirl trios, along with Shimmering Sands, which I believe I completely used up one of them, and the one I've used most recently, like in my Get Ready With Me, that was a repurchase. So those are some of the things hanging around in my collection that I have hit major pan on. As you can see, lots of bronzers in rotation I'm trying to use up, some powders, a few little other odds and ends here and there, but thanks for watching. I hope you found this interesting, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.